on the subject of the playmaking abilities of one RJ Barrett Jr., Vin Caravalli asks, is there a possibility of RJ developing into a real plus playmaker? He seems to have good passing instincts, and maybe the solution to the PG problem is to have multiple playmakers. So right along what you just said, but your thoughts on RJ potentially spiced up playmaking chops that we've seen.
He's not a starting NBA point guard. I think you're right. That should go without saying. I think your goal. See, here's the complicating factor, right? Is you look at a guy like Jason Tatum, which I think Knicks fans in their rosiest of future outcomes imagine RJ being some lesser version of that, right?
Yeah.
Listen, 2 games in, I'm a hell of a lot more impressed than I ever thought I would be. Jason Tatum, it's not what
I'm like offended by that almost.
Why?
Than you ever thought. That's harsh. Then you're more impressed.
He's 17 for his last
2 preseason games. Have you more impressed than you ever thought you would be about RJ Barrett?
He's 17 for his last 27 from the field. I didn't think there would be a stretch where he took of all season where he took 27 shots and made 17 of them, because I can read numbers that are on websites about the season he had last year. Is that a sufficient answer? That's all it is. Just I'm lucky. I learned to read at a young age. So yeah. Anyway, I'm very impressed. I think there is a version of him now that I think maybe he is a poor man's. Again, like Butler in the finals last year is the obvious example, but he's like that's really just so wildly optimistic, and but whatever it is, there's the engine of the offense component of it, but then there's the actual being able to make the right passes and plays off of being that engine. So it's not just one challenge, it's 2 challenges that are interrelated, but they are somewhat unique. I think he has the passing ability. I think we saw that last year, and I think we've seen even better, like his passing on the move. I went back and watched every one of his assists last season at the beginning of quarantine, and there were very few of them that were made on the move. And he's made a few already. And some passes that he's made on the move that did not go in, that were not assists because the basket wasn't made, but they were really high quality passes. So I think he has that aspect of it. I think it's the matter of can he be, that caliber of individual offensive creator, and we'll see. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for this season, though. I definitely want to see him run the second unit offense from time to time, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. Once you're fortunate enough to be in a situation where RJ is not your primary, and then that playmaking is like a plus to have from a wing guy instead of like what you need as the best player on a bad team. Like you need a certain amount of playmaking ability. Like instead of going from it'll go from a necessity to like a surplus, if that makes sense. If he has that plus passing ability down the line, if he's not in a position where he has to be making plays, and he instead can do cool stuff like that, and it's seen differently. So again, it's a small thing, but like the little step back mid-range jumper he hit coming off a curl. Oh, he looks really comfortable.
Yeah, it's just like that's
with
something
that shot.
We didn't see a lot last year. So the fact that he's making it now is great. We'll see where he can go from here.